Okay, so I'm planning on the first actual video on this channel being some actual fishing, but this video is probably going to come out a few days before. I do have a really cool fishing video coming up though. It's kind of like a two-part video, but it's probably going to be one video. And that'll make a lot more sense when I actually do make that video. Pretty much what it is the first part will be getting the bait, and then the second part will be actually trying to catch the fish. And it is a pretty hard fish to catch, so there's a pretty high chance that I come up unsuccessful. And it is one of the fish featured in the intro video, so you might can guess what it is off that. It's a fish I haven't caught in a while, and I've tried to catch it a couple times, but it is the fish of a certain number of casts for a reason. But getting into this video. So this video is on, obviously by the title you can tell, Toy Fish Factory and Replica Toy Fish. So if you don't know, Toy Fish Factory and Replica Toy Fish are pretty much like the name says, a company that produced fish figures. And I really like the figures. They're pretty similar in both lines, but pretty much the context of why there's two different ones. So the original line was Replica Toy Fish. Replica Toy Fish pretty much only made fish from the US, pretty much all like fishing fish. And what I mean by fishing fish is like game type fish, like fish that people specifically just go fishing for. Like there's a few more, but this tackle box has the majority of the figures in the line, like walleye, pike, trout, catfish, bass, muskie. So almost all the figures in this series, and this was the original one if I didn't mention, Replica Toy Fish, all the figures in this are fish from the United States, or at least catchable in the United States. I'm pretty sure they're all native, besides maybe one or two exceptions, but they're almost all native game fish. Like the ones I mentioned, like here we have like smallmouth bass and largemouth, crappie, perch, muskie, tiger muskie, pike. And if you don't know, a tiger muskie is a hybrid between the pike and the muskie that is usually infertile, which if you don't know what that means they can't reproduce. Then we've got a channel cat, walleye, one of the trout, either a brook or a brown brook in this case. Then the bass and the bluegill and the pumpkin seed. I love these different types of sunfish, like the green sunfish and stuff. And then I don't really know why the person that made these quit making these ones, but I know whoever it was is also the same person that created these. And they used to have their own separate website and everything, and then they took I don't think the website's even up anymore for Toy Fish Factory. And Replica Toy Fish also used to have a website, but it's not up. It's not been up for a little bit, but Toy Fish Factory used to have its own website, but now if you go to like the link that would bring you to that website, it brings you to their Amazon link now. And these were the original two lines. I'm going to have a separate video on each of these boxes, so if you're wanting to see them in further detail, I will have videos separately for each one. But Toy Fish Factory, the first one, River Monsters, which pretty much like the name, it's based off pretty much Jeremy Wade's series, which I'm a huge fan of. Whenever I was watching that when I was little, I wanted so badly for there to be something like this, like how Safari Limited makes tubes. I wanted something like that, but had the fish from River Monsters, and that's exactly what this pretty much is, with fish like, you know, the tigerfish, snakehead, piranha, goonch catfish. And one difference actually in the figures, because this set right here, the figures are almost, I think all these are in this one except maybe the striped bass. They're a little bit more like rubbery. Well, I don't know what the exact term, but these ones are a little bit more stiff and like less bendable. Like if you tried to bend them, they might actually break, but these ones can take a little bit more bend, probably because they're almost like they're made more for kids, I guess. I'll get one of the same from this to compare it, but that's the only difference. And then you've got, well, this is the American Angler. These are all fish that I've personally caught: crappie, bluegill, channel cat, striped bass, and largemouth. And then you've got the Northern Angler. These are all fish pretty much up north, like it says, or like from Canada, being walleye, smallmouth, yellow perch, muskie, and northern pike. Most of these two are both in this one though, so these ones weren't like 100% necessary, but since I'm like a completionist, I wanted to get both. Then they had the Gulf Coast, which was a really cool one because it's saltwater with tarpon, speckled trout, redfish, snook, and barracuda. Some of these can also go in freshwater, but they are saltwater fish, every single one. Then they did have a limited edition of the River Monsters, which included an alligator gar and a long-nosed gar, but other than that, it's the exact same as this one. And is it a little, no, it's not even a little longer. So you just have to put two in the same one. And there was like supposed to be like 20 different sets. I don't know whatever happened. If the creator of this happens to see this, I would love to know if there's any chance that those ever get made, because there was like a projected 20 or so more waves, or not 20 waves, but 20 different like tackle box sets. And there were some really cool ones. There was like a Jurassic Park, which was 5 different species of gar, like alligator gar, long-nosed gar, and so on. And then there was like a cleanup crew, which was like types of carp. Then there was another one that was like River Monsters. I think it was called Monster Fish. Then there was like trout. There was a ton of really cool ones. You can find it online probably. And they all said all the fish that came in them. So, I mean, they got probably the most iconic sets. These two were definitely the two that they should have made first, I believe. I think they went really well with the first two, being the River Monster and the American Angler, for obvious reasons, because a ton of people love this one, because most of these don't actually even have like figures as far as other series, like as Safari Limited or another series like that. And then the American Angler was an easy one to make, especially off this and the amount of people that love fishing. So all in all, I really love these figures. I hope that somehow the other ones can get made. I doubt it'll happen, but there were supposed to be like 20 or so sets, I think. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little less, something around that. And I would love if those could get made, or I would love some just context on if there's any chance that they could get made. And if I find anything out, I will put it on YouTube. But all in all, really love the figures. And I am going to have a separate video for each of these. And there's more from the Replica toy fish that didn't come in a tackle box. And I'm going to have a video on that, on all those separately. Well, I'll have like a video of all the ones that didn't come in the tackle box, and then have a whole video on just the ones that did come in the tackle box, or something like that. But I really like all these figures, because I mean, it's just really cool, especially some of these figures like these ones that are really cool fish that just don't get a ton of, like, I don't guess the word's respect, but something like that, where they just don't get made enough by companies that make the fish figures. So if you like these, I believe you can get all 4 of these on Amazon. This one you can find on eBay, and the other separate figures you can find at other places. I have just about the whole set. I think I'm only missing 1 or 2, but one's kind of a weird fish. Well, kind of a weird situation, not the fish itself, but I'll go into that on the next video in this series. But these 4, I believe you can all get. I don't know if you can still get this one. I'm sure you can find it on eBay or something. And they all sell for around, I think, 15 to 25, something around that. I'm wanting to think 15 or 20, but they might have went up because, you know, everything's kind of went up. But thank you all so much for watching. And like I mentioned, I will have a really cool video coming up. And if you couldn't tell, the fish that I'm going to be trying to catch is... Oh, actually, I did forget. I did want to show off one thing in this. The almost like texture type thing. So here is... well, let me get one... I can barely remember. I think the Tiger Muskie in the set is the like lighter brown one. But see what I mean? They don't really bend. Like, see, if I try to push it, it more pushes the fish. And that is the Northern Pike. The color schemes are pretty much the same as, you know, they are the same fish and stuff. Well, this one actually does have a slightly different color scheme than the original. It's a little bit more spotted. See, the tail bends a little bit more. That's about it, though, as far as different. And I mean, the paint jobs are slightly different, but not a ton. I don't know which of these I honestly prefer. I do like the idea more of these ones, though, because I mean, I do live in Kentucky, so almost all the fish in this set I can catch in the state. But like I said, since I'm a big fan of River Monsters, I do like the idea of having more than these. Like, since I like go down to Florida. So I like the saltwater species as well. But I mean, I love that these fish are in it, but I like how the Replica, or no, I like how the Toy Fish Factory has more different species from like all around the world and around here and saltwater. But I really like both of these sets. Well, both of these, they kind of go with each other, like I've said, but I hope I can get some more context on why they quit making them, or if they haven't quit making them. And if I do find out anything else, I will mention it in a video, the next video that goes with this series. So thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned, and I'll probably find some catchphrase to end these videos off on, but I don't have it yet.